The best defense in Madden 27 is some variation of match coverage, but it's super complicated to learn with the over 40 new checks that EA added. Luckily for you, I've already done all the lab work and practice to figure out exactly how it works, the best use cases, and even how to beat it. I will warn you though, you're going to need to watch this video all the way to the end to fully understand everything, or it could be the reason you're still losing games. Let's jump right into it. First, I want to break down how to run and cover 4 quarters. This is one of the best coverage defenses every year, and you're going to want to add it to your defensive scheme. Let me show you. Alright, so we're here on defense. We're going to come into our coaching adjustments. Understand that these coaching adjustments can also be set on the main menu this year, but obviously you would want to change them actually in the game, just depending on what's going on in the game. You could run cover 4 quarters against pretty much every offense in this game, and it will be pretty good for you. But you have to understand how the coverage changes when they are actually maybe in trips versus when they're in stack, they're in spread, 2x2, whatever it is. You want to understand how your coverage plays, and that's an entire seminar that we're certainly going to go through all year long. But in this video, we're going to be talking about it against bunch formations because that's what I believe it to be the most useful against, since you see bunch formations so often. So we're talking about box first. What does this mean? Against a bunch, each defender is responsible for a direction. The cornerback takes the first receiver who goes deep outside. The safety takes the first who goes deep inside. The flat defender covers the first of the flat, and the underneath defender covers the first short inside route. It says, think about it like each defender owns a quadrant around the bunch. So that's a bunch of EA talk, but here, how I'm actually going to tell you guys how this works is this is going to be, I mean, it is like they say, each defender owns a box, right? So if they call a play like this, they have, you know, a corner, a shriek on the tight end, and then they have like this combo, right? This is going to be tough to defend when you're just in regular zone coverage, whether it's cover 2, cover 3, but I'm just going to put my controller down on defense, and we're just going to see how this coverage plays against this play, right? I mean, everyone pretty much just did a great job. Actually, that slot corner right there really didn't have to do a whole lot of helping, but we're able to see how we're going to chase Davante Adams across the formation. We're really going to be right on him one-on-one. This is our best corner. He's man everywhere he goes because this is short underneath on the weak side, and then we also have our slot corner, you know, here to bracket this drag as it runs across the field, right? The corner out also is going to get guarded here to Davante Adams, you know, with this outside quarter defender. And then post routes, right? This just looks like it's probably going to be open once it gets over the top of this defender, but no, because this safety is now here to carry this across the field. So that's just one combo, right? If they call shriek corner flat, like a flood concept, for example, this is also going to get guarded, right? That nickel corner is going to be right there to tackle that or knock that away for a short gain. And if we go with it again, we're going to notice how the corner route is going to get guarded here, right? So we're going to take the snap, we're going to step up in the pocket, and that corner route, there's just going to be a defender breaking on that. So their common combos are going to be guarded, right? I just showed you the post route, you know, with the corner and the shriek. I just showed you a flood concept, even if they go with like a smash return combo where, you know, they have the crosser, the drag, the return. This is very common too. I mean, you're just going to be able to see how our inside quarter carries that. That looked like it was going to be open once it kept running across the field, but he's going to take that and, you know, carry it across, you know, and play great defense. So this is what I mean, where this crosser looks like it's going to be open. If we pause it like right here, if this was zone, it would be wide open, but no, because we're going to carry that and match it. So that's really what box allows you to do. It's a safer way to run cover 4 quarters, and it's effective, especially against most bunch combos. But really good bunch players will do this, where they're just going to immediately attack the flat, right? So something like this, they're just going to hike up this flat every single time, and this is really easy to do and abuse. And if you guys are running cover 4 quarters and they keep just throwing these quick for them, because if they don't throw it immediately, it is going to be guarded. Like, he is going to get out there and guard that, but you saw the difference. It's a first down every time if I throw it immediately. If I wait, he actually is able to knock that pass away or tackle it. So that's really where you want to use the cover 4 quarters check on box. I actually meant to say that's when you want to use the cover 4 quarters check on bingo here. All right, so we're going to come into cover 4, we're going to come to our quarters, and we're going to switch it from box to bingo. So it says same as box, except the outside corner gets special treatment. If the outside receiver stays outside, the corner locks onto him man to man. And so we're going to take a look at what this looks like here, where we're going to put Davante Adams on that same flat route, but now this outside corner is just going to immediately take him. Like as soon as he breaks outside, because that's the logic of the play, he's going to crash down, and I'm not able to just hike throw that pass anymore to Davante Adams, right? So we just go with it again, so you can see same combo, right? Boom, take it, we hike throw it. Well, now we have a guy right there to make that tackle instead of that being an easy gain. Now that would probably even be a breakup a lot of the time too, if maybe I pressed, for example, so it's just a little bit tighter. But the baseline is it if he goes outside, boom, we're right there, easy breakup, two guys on him, and really outside corner does a great job of taking it away. So really that's what you want to understand, though it does leave you more risky on the sideline, right? So if we call a combo, and this will probably be a combo that we break down, this can be something that will beat bingo but not beat box. So just understand how the coverage is kind of going to play, the differences between the two. Understand that box is a more conservative way and will work against, you know, most bunch players, but when they start attacking the flat immediately, like I showed you right there at the end, it's like that's when you want to switch to bingo, so you can lock onto that outside receiver running underneath. Alright, now that you understand how to run cover 4 quarters, you're also going to need to understand how to beat it. Let me show you. Alright, so one of my favorite ways to beat actually this coverage is going to be coming into gun bunch tight end, because you're going to see this. You see this coverage all the time, but we're going to come into bunch tight end. It actually doesn't matter the play that you call, but what we're going to do is talk about the 4 to a side rule and what that is going to do, or what we call 4 strong. So when you put 4 receivers on one side, it's going to change how the coverage plays, because now an extra defender is going to have to slide over and carry. This 3-rec hook, like if we call this combo, right? So we call, it's, you put him on that, and then we put him on a slot fade, and then we stem it down. So if we call this combo just like this, but there's only 3 receivers on that bunch side, they're going to have a much easier time guarding this, right? You were able to see how that inside quarter is going to carry that corner out as it's breaking open down the field. There was a window to throw it, but it really wasn't. But as soon as I motion Kyron Williams over to this other side, so basically create bunch tight end weak, there's a formation where he's already on this side in this game. But if we motion him over, we set up the same exact play, but now we're going to see how Puka is just going to be wide open right here. Right, I think I got hit, but also they have, I mean, I could just throw that flat. So you could just throw the flat every single time. Right, so we take a look. I mean, I could literally just hike throw this flat, and this would be open, but also this is wide open too. If you just, important to throw it as early as possible, right? So as soon as you see it, so we still put him on the slot fade, we're still gonna stem him down. And mind you, I could just hike throw this flat and force him to turn on bingo. So I could just literally just throw this every single time, just like we had talked about. And then once they start to get annoyed with that, that's when I switch to bingo. So that's exactly what we'll talk about here. You're going to call that combo. You're going to throw the flat, throw the flat, throw the flat. And then they're eventually, I mean, if they know to switch, right, to bingo, then that's what they'll do. Cover 4 quarters, bunch check on bingo here. Then they're going to call it, and we're going to go back to the same thing. But now it's going to leave them more susceptible to giving up those deeper passes. Right? But if we take the snap now, and they're going to be in bingo, so they're going to be more aggressive. Now you can just see how I can immediately throw that pass to Davante Adams. Now, you want to throw it quickly. I mean, you could wait for it a little bit on the sideline, but it's like you're just seeing how this guy comes down immediately because they're on bingo. So that's his assignment. He comes down immediately because our guy stays outside. We use a slot fade on Davante Adams now, and then we're just going to throw it as soon as he gets over the nickel corner. Like as soon as I see him run over, you see how the ball's already out of Stafford's hands, and I'm free-forming this ball towards the sideline. If you wait, you allow for this defender to get over there, but once you actually put him on this route, that's right there to the slot fade. Now, Puka Nacua on this stem down post can also be an option for you, or excuse me, stem down corner route. This can also be a throw for you if he's able to beat his man, but you see how Davante Adams was like, again, wide open on that play, but I'm also able to hit Puka for an easy gain. So it's like just using the 4 strong rule is really going to help you, either motioning that guy over, but you just see how Davante cooks. I mean, this is a huge, this might even be a touchdown because this defender's late recognizing it. And then over here, Puka just fries on this corner, and then the defender like leaves him for no reason, and then we're just able to throw it. So really using the box bingo kind of differentiation there, where you're going to use the flat route if they're in box, which box is the default, and then using this 4 strong combo to take advantage of your stem down corner or your slot fade once they switch to bingo is how I best like to beat cover 4 quarters. Great, so if you found this breakdown helpful so far of match coverage in Madden 27, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna be breaking down Madden 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day all year long, and you're not gonna want to miss out on any of the videos that I have. But if you're serious about transforming your offense or your defense here in Madden 27, go to that link down below in the pinned comment to grab my Seahawks defensive ebook, which is a part of Madden University. You're going to get access to all the custom adjustments that are inside, and you're going to get access to all the written tip breakdowns that are featured like the ones in this video for you to save on your phone. It's really the best way to get better all year long. Super easy to learn from my proven tips and schemes. So what are you thinking? Go to the link down below in the pinned comment today to join Madden University, and let's jump right back into the video. Because next I want to break down exactly how to run cover 4 palms. This is another great defense just like quarters, but it's a little bit different, and I use it in different situations. Let me show you. Alright, so I like using cover 4 palms more against trips formation, so that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to scroll down, cover 4 palms trips check. Alright, we have stump, and then we have, stubby. Alright, so I like to use it on stump. It says, like stubby, the corner and nickel zone off if number 1 doesn't go deep. Good against teams isolating number 2 or number 3 in corner routes, especially in the red zone. Stubby is to the trip side. The corner follows everywhere, so man everywhere he goes. The nickel, safety, and underneath defenders share the coverage on 2 and 3 using palm style reads. The nickel jumps to any quick out from number 2, and then if 2 and 3 both go deep, the nickel takes 2 vertical, and the safety takes number 3. All right, so really how we're gonna break this down is we're gonna come here onto the field. We're gonna call cover 4 palms, if I could find it. There we go, cover 4 palms. All right, so really what we're gonna see with this coverage is the reason why, so I have it on stubby right now. And so this is still going to be good against common trips combinations, right? So slant post, they're gonna go flat, so something like this, right? They're gonna take the snap and we're gonna lock onto Davante Adams, we're gonna lock on their post. Our underneath defender does a great job of taking away, the 3 rec right here takes away their slant. Boom, he's literally in his hip running this route for the guy. That's the thing about match. These guys react way sooner because they're in like a man style coverage versus if they're in zone, he's kind of gonna backpedal, kind of give up some ground. So that's one common trips combination, right? Slant post, right? If we go with kind of dagger with a crosser and then a backside in route, we're gonna notice how this is gonna be effective too, because our inside quarter is gonna do a great job at taking Puka down the field. And then that's the thing about stubby though, or excuse me, yeah, we're on stubby. So stubby is man everywhere he goes on this outside guy, which can be effective, especially because this is one of the premier corners in this game, Stingley, and we have him one-on-one. If you use stump maybe and they call that combo, well now you're asking for a nickel corner Reed Blankenship to guard Davante Adams across the field. So it can't be helpful when he's going on like a dig route, or maybe even like if they called like something like this, where Davante Adams is just going to run like a deep cross. Well, now we just have Stingley locked onto him, and then we also have that additional support, and he's able to make up that ground as he runs across the field. So having man everywhere he goes is nice. It's just kind of challenging sometimes when you're having to carry this all the way across the field, and then you see how right here Stingley gets bumped. Now, luckily, he's a great corner, kind of makes up the ground there, but that's kind of what is frustrating about stubby. Right, and so also this combo, right, just straight verticals. They just call verticals. Well, now Reed Blankenship is on a one-on-one down the field against that receiver, and then he gets mossed for a touchdown. So that's kind of why stubby, or really why there's an alternative, which is stump. But understand that I'm not telling you that stubby's all bad, right? You can still defend a lot of really great combos, and then you have some advantages like being able to lock onto a backside dig route. But we're going to switch it now and go more towards stump and why this is going to be effective, and I guess when you should kind of use this. So cover 4, and we're going to go down and put our palms check for trips on stump. Right, so like it says, the corner and nickel zone off if number 1 doesn't go deep. All right, so you have to count the receivers outside in when you're in a trips formation. So really what that looks like here, going to be Davante Adams is going to be 1, Whittington is going to be 2, and then Puka is going to be 3. All right, and so really what this means is this same combo, right? Or let me snap the ball again. But this same combo that we were talking about earlier with the dagger. So we have a backside dig on Devontae Adams. We have a crosser on Puka. Now Stingley's going to zone off on him, and we expect for our linebacker to now pick him up. But you see how last time you can't really throw that, but against this defense right here, there's a window for them to throw it. So that's fine. It's just you have to understand that you can't put your controller down on defense like I had been doing, right? Just trying to show you. You need to be aware of the route concepts they're calling, because now all that you have to do is just user this. You understand this is your assignment. Puka still gets locked onto, and they still have nowhere to go. So you're still able to defend, the dagger concept really well. What if they go slant post now, right? So same thing, slant post, flat, and we're going to put him on a shriek. So it's something like this. Now you just know that Puka's yours. Boom. Across the field, Puka. The post gets guarded all the way across the field too, and now that's going to be lockdown defense. So their 2 best combos from trips that you're going to see are lockdown. But the reason why I like stump the most is because same verticals play, where when everyone goes vertical, we're now going to just zone off, right? So you're not really going to allow for this guy to just get isolated, and he's actually able to get back there and knock it away better than he would before. Also, if they call like a corner route, because Stingley is going to zone off right on the outside corner, because he's going to zone off if Devontae doesn't go deep. If they call like this combo right here, we're going to be able to do a better job of just double teaming this corner route, right? So we take the snap, and you're going to notice how much better job on that corner route than if that's just a pure one-on-one out there. So that's really where I like stump, more than stubby. You're just able to see how still great defense, even though I put my controller down, we're going to be able to do a great job of defending a lot of these plays, but you're not going to get isolated as easily with a corner out, although right here they do have a shriek route on the field to push Stingley up the field still, but you're able to see how we're going to play lockdown defense here on this corner route. So that's really the over palms instead of quarters. I think it has better match rules against trips, which is exactly where I'm going to use it. Mixing between stubby and stump for the most part, but understanding the way the different coverages play and when's the best time to use each of them. Before I jump to those final 2 match coverage tips that you're absolutely not going to want to miss here in Madden 27, I wanted to once again remind you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be breaking down complex tips and tricks to help you guys understand this game better all year long, and you're not going to want to miss out on any of the videos that I drop. So go down below, hit that subscribe button today, and let's jump right back into the video. Because next I want to break down how you can actually go about beating cover 4 palms. Because if you can run it at a high level, you're going to need to beat it at a high level when someone else runs it on you. Let me show you. So I had just showed you how to run cover 4 palms, and I like it best against trips formations, but there will be people that you play against that will just run cover 4 palms against anything that you run. And so if they're just going to do that, I'm actually just going to come into a bunch formation, bunch strong offset, which takes advantage once again of the 4 strong. But what we're going to do, put Whittington here on a slot fade, we're going to put Devontae Adams on the flat, and then I like to put Puka on a drag route. So this is going to again take advantage of box and bingo, because just like cover 4 quarters has box and bingo, so does palms when they're playing against bunch formations. So it's very similar, and so it's the same way we're going to take advantage. Flat routes, high throw them immediately, get them out there, turn that into easy yards. It's very important that you're on the wide side of the field with your bunch, and this is flood here from bunch strong offset. But again, what we're going to see, boom, as soon as we hike the ball, we throw it because we know they're check. It's so obvious if they're in bingo, right? Because the outside corner comes down. So if he doesn't immediately fly down, they're going to be in box. And so you can literally just hike throw that immediately all game long. And it's going to be very, very easy for you. You don't have to do anything. Like, again, I've done this, for most of this year, even, so far. It's just like he has no chance because that's the coverage that they're in. So throw it to the flat. And then eventually you're going to either, one, get them out of the coverage itself because they don't actually know what they're doing, or they're going to do what, a smart kind of defender would do here is they're going to switch their cover 4 palms bunch check to bingo, and it's the same thing we're going to take advantage of from a different formation to cover 4 palms, but we do have a beater. We're kind of setting them up, so you want them to start out in box just so that you can hit the flat right forever, and then if they ever switch, this is what you're now going to do. You're going to set it up just like this. We're going to step up in the pocket, and you're actually going to notice how either your slot fade or sometimes your tight end corner route is going to be wide open right there on the sideline. So depending if you stem it up or down. But we're going to take the snap, and you just see how wide open this slot fade is immediately because this inside quarter locks onto the tight end corner, and then the outside corner comes down immediately to defend the flat, and now we have a slot fade breaking wide open here to the sideline for a huge gain. I actually saw it late right there, but if you see it immediately, it's just going to be a walk-in touchdown. So we take the snap. That's their coverage rule. We immediately throw, like, it doesn't get any easier, right, than just having a walk-in touchdown, because really the outside corner, or excuse me, the top safety on the other side of the field, we look at the replay here, this defender, he has to come all the way across the field to defend a slot fade, right? And his teammate is responsible for some reason for the corner. So you're more so just taking advantage of the way the coverage plays. They don't really see this as a vertical route because this tight end is going more vertical. He's more vertical first. So they just assume that this guy's not running vertical, and then you can just throw it for a walk-in touchdown. So cover 4 palms is actually really easy to beat when you're in a bunch formation, just by using this play flood from bunch strong offset, setting up just like that. Start by hitting the flats immediately to that outside bunch receiver, and then take advantage of the slot fade for a 1-play touchdown when they switch their check to bingo. But that 5th and final match coverage tip that I want to break down here in this video is actually going to be how to beat cover 6, because cover 6 is another way to run match coverage, and it's very popular and really good. So let me show you the easiest way to beat it. Alright, so cover 6 here is going to be cover 4 palms on one side, and it's going to behave like cover 4 palms on one side, cover 2 match on the other side. All right, and so really what we're going to see right here is we are going to just force this soft squad defender to chase, and so that's really the big point we're going to make right here. So they have a soft squad on the field on this cover 2 side, and so what we're really trying to do is get him to chase a route. So if we put Puka on a drag route, he's going to, the soft squad, you see how the soft squad, he immediately followed, but then he went back. So you don't want to run him on necessarily something across the field like that. You want it to be like a shriek route, because now he's going to take that shriek up the field, and then you're going to just be able to throw like a post route right underneath of him. So something like this, where boom, he takes it, he runs with it, and now you're going to see if you can get more time to throw, you have that post route breaking open. Now, you have to understand that they're still in cover 4 match on this side of the field, right? So this safety, he still sees it, but it's like he's just going to be late to it. So really, I could have just thrown it right here, the post route. But also, I could wait for it to run on the sideline because there's no flat defender on that side anymore. So it's like you would want to put, I would actually put Devontae Adams or Puka at that spot, because that's the thing about match. They're in like man coverage ratings, like route running and their man coverage, it affects it here, right? Because it eventually converts to man. But we take the snap, we get him to chase, we step up, and you see how that pass is going to be open to the sideline. Now, certainly, it's going to take time for it to set up, and so if you don't have all day or you don't have a lot of time to throw, you have a bad line, that's different. But we get him to chase, and now we can just throw that pass right there to Whittington in the middle of the field. But the Texans have one of the best D lines in the game, so this time we're just going to spy off the pass rush just so I can show you. But Puka is going to create separation right there on the sideline. We're going to be able to throw that, and we have a green touchdown. So you see the difference between having a regular receiver and then having obviously a really great one, because like I just said, man coverage ratings do matter here and your ability to beat man. So we take a look at what happens. We get this soft squad defender to chase this route, the shriek. Even though he really doesn't need to, he still does. That's how this coverage plays. So we just put this guy on a shriek, and then we're able to run a route he gets matched onto, but he's able to beat his man, which is just his match defender, and then be able to just freeform this ball outside, and then we have a walk-in touchdown. So the general concept here when you're running, or excuse me, when you're trying to beat cover 6, is you're trying to get this defender to chase a route. So even like a streak, or maybe even get him to run the out. Like, I'm obviously doing this from a bunch formation, but like, it doesn't even have to be a shriek. You can literally put your guy in an out, get him to chase, and then now we're gonna have Puka right there, and if I green that, that's a completion. So the bottom line when you're playing against cover 6, regardless if you're in spread, tight, bunch, identify the weak side corner, right, who is gonna be Stingley here in this example. You're gonna get him to chase a route down the field, and then you're going to run a route into his area, and then if you can beat that match defender, you're gonna have an easy gain down the field, like to a deep post route. Alright, so if you found this breakdown helpful of how to run and beat match coverage in Madden 27, go down below and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be breaking down Madden 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day all year long, and you're not going to want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you're serious about winning more games here in Madden 27 using and beating match coverage, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join Madden University, which includes my full Seahawks defensive ebook with 10 custom adjustments fully written out for you to save on your phone, with videos with screenshots to guide you through the entire scheme. And you also get access to full written breakdowns just like the one in this video to make everything I've talked about here today that much easier to understand. It's really the best way to get better all year long, stay ahead of the meta in Madden 27. So again, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join. But if you want to see my full defensive ebook, which includes how to run match coverage at a high level, check out this video where I break down my Seahawks scheme. I'll see you over there. Peace.